We had Brother Donald Atkinson call in and give some of his various backgrounds, but in other cultures where there are rites of passages, to his point, you're not a man until declared. And in this Western culture where you didn't, in a sense, and obviously our African or Black American experience, in a sense, you didn't, in a lot of cases, not see the revitalization of the rites of passages for our culture as we, in a sense, strangers to this land, made this our own land. Some of those rituals didn't stay with us, but something that is understood in a lot of cultures around the world, even without rites of passages, for the most part, manhood included, taking on the responsibility of a wife and raising children. And so even without a rites of passage, that's how, in a sense, you're seen in society. I'm willing to admit that and highlight that is still something that is very necessary and understood even in westernized culture, even though marriage has gotten, in a sense, a bad name in some sense. But the reality is it is still honored and respected in that way, and it is, in a sense, a step into manhood for us as men, even if you were never told. And so I always say, as a child born of the hip-hop generation, we are the hip-hop generation. For people my age, I highlight, due to previous dysfunctions within our community specifically, we are that generation, in a sense, the first fatherless generation. A lot of us grew up without our dads in the home, kind of the first generation to have the majority of us grow up that way. It's been happening for years, but we were the generation in which it became over 50% of us, or, being born in homes there where the parents were not married or whatever. And so as that first fatherless generation, we've tried to have to figure a lot of these things out on our own. You heard the cut earlier about dating, learning how to, in a sense, be divorced. You're not understanding commitment, and you don't learn that from dating. In the past, they used to, if you will, court, not simply date. So there are aspects in the culture, again, that don't line us up with this idea of marriage for those who want to be husband. Again, if you don't want to be a husband, this conversation ain't for you. But for plenty of men that want to or desire, understanding what it actually entails, I think our generation owes it to the upcoming generation. And both these young men, I think, are in their 30s. So hopefully this is a chance to do that. But I think we owe it to the next generation to say, hey, here's what we didn't figure out. Here's what we got wrong. We end up rationalizing even our own dysfunction to the point where we are letting the next generation do what they want. Foundations, in my opinion, that we can return to and lay those seeds again, and we can listen to a Donald Atkinson and say, hey, here's how I done it. And maybe we can, in a sense, learn from his example, because what he said sounded incredibly powerful compared to what we're witnessing daily, and especially online. Because I will say offline, there are plenty of beautiful families still getting it right. And that's actually still the majority of the culture, believe it or not. But that is at risk as this dysfunctional aspect of the culture continue to grow. So I said a lot, Fitzgerald. Again, I invited you on the show. So I'm very curious